102.7 Shop FM. This is ArtsTalk. That was Johnny No Cash covering Johnny Cash, which is kind of funny.
Hilarious.
Okay, and we're ready to go. Our guest tonight is Nick Persichilli. Got it.
Oh, you got the bell even. Special.
What does the bell mean?
I don't know. You're in trouble.
Because you're a special guest, you win $1,000.
Do I?
No, you get to be the bass player in Metallica. Isn't that great?
Yes, it is.
Welcome, Nick. Thank you for coming all the way
Thank you for having me.
from beautiful Etobicoke.
Is that where you live?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay, I wasn't sure.
Now, you and Taylor go back a little ways. You've
A little bit.
You've seen bands that Taylor was in, and you've been working the Toronto music scene as a photographer.
Yeah, for about maybe the past year and a half, I'd say. Working is a very generous word. It's
fun?
It is a lot of fun. I used to be very into photography when I was in high school. I studied it like back in the film days. I'm really dating myself here, but back in the day.
We were taught how to use a dark room?
Yeah, oh yeah.
They had that when I was going to high school too, and I don't consider myself that old, so it's
yeah,
okay.
all right.
Yeah.
I think that's still part of the
Am
art,
I old?
isn't it?
I don't think I'm old.
Well, you're quite old, but that's what I think they still want to teach
I think
you
so.
those
I think they
skills,
do, yeah.
Well,
I hope so.
The skills I learned working with film were invaluable. I mean, just the ideas of overexposing, underexposing. But I walked away from film when the digital era started, because when digital first came out, you could still make the argument that film was better. Now that's no longer the case. But so I kind of walked away from it for a while, and then once digital caught up, I kind of fell in love with the craft again, and I was just kind of looking for a place to shoot, and there's only so many times you can walk through a forest and shoot a landscape. I wanted to shoot something interesting, and and then some years later, I was working at a car dealership doing their marketing actually, and someone who is now a very good friend of mine named Mr. Matt Groupie, he actually bought his car from the dealership. So his salesperson, who was a musician back in his day, he figured.
Oh, I remember him actually.
Yeah.
Wasn't it
Ren Wilson from Trento Kia. There's a little plug for you guys.
Lovely.
Yeah.
He makes his own jingles.
Yeah,
I heard them.
He did all the
They're
jingles.
fantastic.
He does all the jingles for the dealership. So he was a musician. He was, of a certain mindset. He knew my musical tendencies and artistic tendencies. Like, you should probably meet this guy. So we sat in the showroom for a bit. And Matt one day said, yeah, you should just come down to this little bar called Cherry Cola's. And I did, and I kind of never left.
It's true. You can find you there very often.
Yeah.
You tend to find
Good
yourself
times.
there Fridays and Saturdays and shoot whoever's there, or you're there to see certain bands?
A little of both. There was a time over the summer when I was, you could find me there like on a Wednesday night, just because, the musicians that are there, especially over the summer, Matt was a very good curator of the type of bands and the types of artists that were there. So pretty much any time I'd show up there, just point the camera and you get some really passionate musicians doing what they do.
Mm-hmm. Especially when they're not asking a photographer to be there, and you just show up and you get these great photos of them. They're very appreciative, right? Or grateful of it.
They were surprisingly appreciative. I was kind of surprised by that actually, and so I was doing it for myself. I showed up, live music. That sounds cool.
Yeah.
I brought my camera and I just started shooting, and I was using it almost as a technical exercise, because shooting in an indoor venue without a flash.
Where the lighting is weird.
That's
the lighting
true.
is
It's
dynamic.
So hard.
Dynamic is the word.
It's very
changing.
Yes, especially when you've got they like to do the LED filters and they flash. The worst is when I try to do like a burst mode shooting and they do strobes, because half of the shots are completely black.
The other half are completely white.
Yeah, so it's very challenging technically to shoot in there, which is, thankfully, it's kind of my forte. I very much like the technical aspect of photography, and I really learned to cut my teeth at Cherry's.
That's awesome.
Was this the thing that you at a point and shoot as a kid and started to like doing photographs?
I grew up with a darkroom in my basement. My father was a journalist.
Oh, really?
Back in the days when that actually meant something. And
Still means something, doesn't it?
When it meant something different.
You're a liar.
No.
Just joking.
Journalism is the first draft of history.
Oh.
So I have a very great deal of respect for journalists who treat their craft like that.
Yeah.
And I'll just leave it at that.
All right.
So yeah, he was a journalist. He did a lot of his own photojournalism. So I grew up with the darkroom in the basement. My father had all kinds of camera gear, the Olympus OM1, OM2. So I grew up with that. It was. I think my first, I know my first memory coming online as a human being is me at my grandmother's house, playing with my father's camera, like picking it up and kind of slamming it on the coffee table as a child. And then I remember my father quickly running over and saying, no,
don't you do that to
yeah,
the camera.
That's how that's memory one, is
really
messing with a
Nick's
lens.
first experience with photography is just banging that camera on
Yeah.
the table.
A really expensive piece of gear on it.
Yeah, playing with photography. That's
nice.
Yeah.
So you grew up with photography. We have a lot of musicians through here, and a lot of them tell similar stories about a guitar in the household or a piano in the household or something like that, where they just kind of become exposed to it, and it becomes a thing.
My dad had a guitar too.
Did he?
Yeah.
And you also play guitar, bass. You play drums?
Yes.
Yeah, I wasn't sure about that.
One thing I've learned about going to Cherry Colas, and I've certainly confirmed that I am every bit a musician as a lot of the people that are on stage. I am in no way a performer like these guys are. So,
Definitely two different things. Yeah.
Very, very much so. Like, I used to think, I play music, I'll start a band. No.
Why not?
Because I'm not a performer.
Just play drums, dude. You don't have to do too much moving. Maybe make a face every once in a while.
Drummers, are you hearing this?
Pop your head.
He's a drummer. He's a drummer.
Oh.
No, but literally,
I'm not saying.
Not saying that like you don't have to perform as a drummer. But I mean, if you're playing as a drummer, what you're playing is such a physical activity. How else can you be a performer? Like you're already performing. I feel like when you're.
Lee, you're the thing that turns around.
Come on, that's Tommy Lee.
No, that's not. No.
Anyways, we're not asking Nick to be on a propeller on stage. That's not the right word, but you know what I mean. Anyways, so I'm going to tell my personal story about Nick.
Right.
So Rubella did a photo shoot with you in Newmarket around Main Street in that area. But then we went to the jam spot and we did pictures there, but then we got to jam with you after.
That was a blast.
And I was so surprised. I was like so impressed. You're a very good musician too. Like you're all over the map. So.
Well, you guys, there was a lot of talent in the room, and I was almost afraid to ask if I could jam.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. Like
a little intimidated?
A little bit, yeah. They're solid musicians.
Thank you.
Hey guys, can I jam with you?
No, it was actually a blast.
I've only jammed with Taylor a couple times. It's very frightening. I find her.
We have jammed so.
Very.
Oh, he's just saying that because we're on the radio.
Oh.
It's true.
Okay, thanks, Dave.
I'm very scared.
We have lots of fun. It's all good.
We are in conversation with Nick Persichilli, photographer, rock photographer.
Yeah,
music
I would say that.
I say rock photographer.
Yeah, something like that.
And this is ArtsTalk on 102.7. I'm Taylor Cross.
I'm Dave Peters.
So the opportunity to start photographing bands came to you through the introduction to Matt and to Cherry Colas. Is that what it is right now? Has it changed in any way?
Yeah, I guess it has. I mean, I started off just kind of doing it for fun, and then I realized that there was a demand for it, and then I was like, oh, wow, I could do this for business. Then I was like, wait a minute, let's not get too arrogant. So for this past summer, I've just been shooting a whole bunch of bands just to kind of practice. Like, what do I look for? What am I looking for? What am I not looking for? So right now, I finally got my website up. And it's very rudimentary, but
do you want people to go to it?
That's a good question. Do I want?
Because you can say it on the air if you want.
I'm actually thinking about that right now. It's kind of a work in progress. I mean, I've got a lot of great content up there. I'm very proud of my work, but it's just the presentation. It's a WordPress site, and I'm just not very good at WordPress.
Just being modest. How about your Facebook page? Because you have a lot of good content. It's
yes.
Reverb photography.
Yes, there's reverb photography. Images that resonate.
Yes. Ooh. I also saw that. Oh, I didn't think about it like that. But that's really good. I saw that you're working with Canadian Beats. I think. Yeah?
I am. I am working with Canadian Beats.
Awesome.
They're nationwide. They've now got over 30 contributors, and they're just fantastic photographers. Like I love seeing their work. I love picking it apart, just looking at it and saying, oh, what did they use for this? What did they use for this? And I learn something every time. So I mean, plus they have this menu of bands that are looking to be covered. And I mean, just on Monday night actually, I was at the Horseshoe Tavern, and I was shooting Hillsburn from Nova Scotia. Great band. I just sent the photos through today. In fact, if you guys want to check out CanadianBeats.ca, you can probably see it up tomorrow. Check out Hillsburn.
What's Canadian Beats?
It's like is it more it's not necessarily just local artists. They feature big bands as well.
They photograph and review albums from Canadian artists.
Right.
Like if you're a Canadian artist, and like basically what they're doing is kind of what I was doing at Cherries. They're doing that on a national level. Because artists appreciate the coverage and the photos.
Definitely.
And Lord knows the photographers enjoy the music.
Yeah, it seems like it. I know Nicole Marie, I don't know what
Yes.
her last name is, but she's fantastic, and I've gotten to meet her, and she's photographed us a couple times.
Yeah,
so
she's
it's
lovely.
Really, really cool. Yeah, she's
I really
very
like her
talented.
work.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Did you invite her through Canadian?
No, she was there. I want to say she was at our Finger 11 show. I could be wrong. But she was also at that Hot Lips show that you were at the Cameron House. So she's just very, very talented. But she also, that's what I love about Canadian Beats. It seems to be photographers or music journalists or whatnot that really have a passion for it. And
Yes.
that's what they want to do as their hobby. So they're not only like fulfilling that part of their life where they love to do it, but they're helping other bands get out there, because Canadian Beats has become kind of a pretty big name. Like when I see Canadian Beats, I'm like, I read it. It stops me when I'm scrolling through my news feed. Like it's got a good reputation.
Yeah. No, it's a great group of people, and I'm very proud to be part of that team.
Fantastic.
Is
I'm
this
proud
something
of
you
you.
can make a living at?
No, not with this. Well, living eventually.
Eventually.
Sorry, I thought you meant like, am I making a living with
No, but could you?
Can I? Of course, absolutely. Would I? I don't know.
How do you do it though? I mean, do you take 1,000 shots of a band performing and say, here you go, it's $1 a shot? How would that work?
Well, it's all freelance, right?
The way I've done it is, this has been the process 99% of the time up until now. Walk into Cherries, or a lot of times now I've gone to Matt's new band, Matt's new club, Stop, Drop, and Roll. I just kind of show up, whoever's there, I just shoot. If I like their sound, if I like their look, I'll shoot them. If not, I'll just hang out. So afterwards, I mean, if I've connected with what the band has performed, I'm like, yeah, it was a great set. Listen, I got some pretty cool shots of you. And I just kind of show it to them. And a lot of times they're, not to toot my own horn, but they're fairly impressed.
Yeah, of course.
So
And then you'll work a deal with them and say, well, X dollars, you can have them?
to be perfectly honest, I've kind of avoided charging bands, with the exception of some of them that actually force me.
We offer, like, I feel like as a musician who works, as a musician, I'm also sort of in a freelance thing where I like to be paid for my art, so why would I ask another artist to come out and, spend gas to get there, take their time to do it, take the time to edit it without giving them any sort of money. Now, it's not like we're paying, like, crazy amounts of money, but if you throw a few 20s their way, I think that's a nice gesture.
An artist shouldn't work for free.
Exactly. So that was always my thinking with that, which I hope that other bands do that with you as well. But
I feel very uncomfortable. This is my problem. I feel very uncomfortable taking money for doing something that I genuinely enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And that's something I need to get over.
Totally.
a little bit.
Because that sounds like a perfect way to enjoy your life. Just
Just make a little bit of wasn't it?
Yeah, I know. But
Anyways, we're not giving you lectures
I
on
know.
Arts Talk. We're talking about the art.
It's just curious, that's all. I mean, we ask everybody how they
Dave.
monetize what they do.
Dave loves to know about that
I
sort of thing.
I do, and I'm fascinated by it. But let's face it, there's a lot of art being produced
Yes.
for nothing, or close to nothing. And this is something that we have as a discussion all the time,
Yeah, it
Taylor
is.
and I.
Yeah.
Between the two of us, with the musicians that we know, with the people in town here, we're always talking about ways to monetize art, ways that it's not, in ways that it's beneficial for both, right?
Exactly.
For the person that produces the art and the person that consumes
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
That's the essence of the thing that needs to be, that makes it work.
yeah.
Because music became this free thing where there's so much content online
Yeah.
for either nothing or $1 a piece or whatever. And like, not dissing the $1 a piece. If you're making money, whether it's $1 or $10 an album or whatever, like just so that you're making something for the time, and it takes a lot of time.
Sure, it does.
To get to
let's
that point.
let's do a little thought exercise here.
Oh, okay.
You're doing this in the pre-digital age and shooting these things on film.
Oh, right.
So now you're not going to take 1,500 photos at a night. You're going to take 50. And then you're going to have to produce them all. And then you're going to have actual hard copy.
Yep.
Then it would be a lot easier to justify in your own mind going to a band and saying, look, I got 25
That
great
makes sense.
glossies of you guys here.
Yeah.
That's $500, right? Or
Well,
whatever.
it's a bigger cost.
It does, and that's actually one way in which the digital age has irreparably, not irreparably, but like it's forever changed. the industry.
It kind of is the same way with the music industry too,
Yeah.
right? Like the whole digital world really affected both of those industries.
Yeah.
I think the word is disintermediation.
What does that mean?
What does that
it
mean?
means that there used to be a barrier between access to professional photography. But now that every phone is a high quality digital camera,
Quotations.
that and everybody and recording software can be had by anyone in their basement. You've disintermediated what at one time was something that was easy to price and value. You can't afford an Olympus camera, and you don't have the know-how to do this stuff in the darkroom. Therefore, I assign this price to what I do. Now that I can take my phone and, in my point of view, do exactly what you're doing, now it's free.
You're not actually saying that anyone with a cell phone is a photographer, though.
Not in the
I
least.
hope
Not in the
not.
least,
Okay.
not in the least. Nor am I saying that anybody with Pro Tools is a recording
But
engineer.
sometimes
Right.
they think they are.
Right.
Yeah.
Perception of that.
However,
They said the same thing in the 70s when autofocus came out. They're like, "Oh, the day of the professional photographer is done."
Seriously?
Yeah, it's
Autofocus?
Yeah, because
Autofocus is going to kill photography?
that's what they said. Because
Come on.
that's well, I mean, think about it. You're holding an old SLR. How do you track focus? Like that was a skill and a craft. If you're tracking a moving object, you're rolling this ring along this lens, and you have to do it in such a perfect way while timing it and while keeping composition.
Wow. That's a fine motor skill. Right
Exactly. So now all of a sudden they've replaced it with autofocus. Oh, anyone can just point and focus now. Yeah, but do they know how to compose a shot?
There you go.
Do they know how to process? Are you going to crop? Like all these other things. Same thing with digital. You've cut out what you said, and what you're left with is just the craft, just the art, just the image.
Right.
Take the image. Like a terrible image is still a terrible image.
yes.
So, do you... we should play a song.
I think
but,
maybe we should play some music.
Are you trying to emulate a particular photographer? Do you
No.
have role models?
No influence?
I wish I was one of those guys that knew more about different photographers, but honestly, I kind of just look to my contemporaries around.
Cool. That's awesome. though.
Because, I mean, in terms of style and... No, I wish I could, but I wish I could say more, but no, I'd say I'm more influenced by my colleagues at Canadian Pete's than I am.
That's awesome. There's some fantastic
But then,
photographers.
what informs you when you're deciding what to do in a certain situation? The band's on the stage, where you position yourself, what angle you're at, what degree of tightness you're going to be. You know, all those sort of things that run, the thousand things that run through your mind in terms of composing a shot.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not, I would like this to look like such and such's work. What is it?
Honestly, most of the time it's just a roll of the dice.
Is that right?
I just...
Random chance.
Pretty much. I mean, I'm not... I came here today and I actually brought my camera bag. I don't know why I brought it. I'm not here shooting anything.
You
I
wanna
just...
take some pictures
I
of us?
instinctively brought it. I'm like, then as I'm walking outside in the rain, I'm like, why am I holding this camera bag? This is I'm not doing a photo. You know what? I'm going to take some
Photograph
pictures.
Taylor.
Woo, he's gonna take some pictures. So in the meantime, maybe we could put on a song of one of your favorite local artists. I hear
Yes.
you're gonna bring these girls, one guy. We can't say the thing that they normally say, the 6 beep and 1 beep.
Yes. No, man, you can't say that.
But we love the Anti-Queens here.
Yes.
And this is my favorite song by the Anti-Queens.
Is it really?
Yeah. Oh wait, no. Mine's Ladders, my bad. But I really like this song too.
Okay.
Okay,
What
so
song is it?
Read My Mind by the Anti-Queens on 102.7 CHOP FM.
I've got the thoughts, but not the words to try to make you understand. It's not that I cannot decide or be upfront with what I like.
Anti-Queens with Read My Mind on 102.7 Chop FM. This is ArtsTalk. I'm Dave Peters.
I'm Taylor Goss.
And we are in conversation with Nick Persichilli talking about photographing bands like the Anti-Queens. So you have a little history with that band.
I do.
Tell us about the Anti-Queens.
Well, I first met the Anti-Queens, not this past New Year's, but the New Year's before that, playing at Cherry Colas.
Okay.
And I saw their performance, and they just... This is the understatement of the year, but they rocked.
Yeah.
And like they just had great stage presence, all of them. And then afterwards, because it was Cherries, we all kind of hung out after, and the dust settled and everyone was drinking, and we just kind of all hung out as friends. And I got to know them, and they were. This is gonna sound weird, but they were just people. You know what I mean? I got to know them, and I really fell in love with their humanity. And since then, I just kind of became friends with them. And they were the first band that I actually shot.
Really?
They let me into their rehearsal studio. They were just about to go on tour in the States last year, and they needed some shots. So I was like, well, I would love to. I'd never done it before, and they were in their rehearsal studio, their rehearsal space, and I just shot them. It was basically a performance for one, which I thought was fantastic.
And those pictures turned out awesome. I did get to see some of them.
Yeah.
They used them for a couple posters, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. So it was
They
good.
did.
You can probably still see them online somewhere.
Probably they're floating around.
Yeah.
And ever since then I've just kind of whenever they play, I just go shoot them, and they're just we've become very good
They're
friends.
awesome
They
ladies.
really are.
They're very talented, but they are super kind and very supportive of other musicians. Like Hysterics have played with Anti-Queens a few times, and it's always a good time.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really good.
They're awesome people, and if you want to talk about passionate performers,
Seriously.
I can't count the number of times I've gotten amazing shots of Emily. Amazing shots of Mary, and I don't know. Maybe it's because I've gotten to know them, but I just find them very easy to shoot. And I know when they're gonna make a certain face, and when they're gonna, I know how they perform. So,
That's awesome.
which actually, the other song I brought today.
Oh yes, we had a little bit of a technical difficulty.
Right.
Emily, I'm so sorry. I was gonna play that song we recorded, but I unfortunately processed it in FLAC.
Those damn FLAC files.
Mother Flacker.
That was clever, Nick.
Thank you.
This is an MP3 show.
It is.
It is.
Family-friendly MP3s.
That's right, both.
But yeah,
both things.
like for example, that the song we recorded, we were all up at a cottage, and I brought my laptop and a 2-channel preamp, and we just recorded. I had my guitar, and Emily just recorded one of her old songs, and it was just her and I. We were drinking. Well, she was drinking sangria. I was drinking. I can't remember what else. And I just hit record on it, and it was a great song. And it really. I'm really pissed that I didn't record. Because
We'll have to have you back on the show so you could just.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Or maybe we'll ask Emily to come on the show. That would be lovely.
That would make a lot more sense. Yes.
Well, yeah.
We've never had the Anti-Queens.
We haven't. They live downtown Toronto. I'm not sure how easy it is for them, but
Nick made it.
the invitation is there, Anti-Queens.
If you're listening, Anti-Queens.
Yes.
Have they got something new out that people should be going to find?
They're currently in the process. I think I don't want to speak for them, but I think they've got some. I know Emily and Mary are doing some solo stuff.
Nice.
In fact, Emily even asked me if I could shoot the video of her in the studio while she was recording, and I was like, video is something I don't normally do.
Mm-hmm.
So again, with the Anti-Queens, I'm pushing my comfort zone. So
It's good to do that.
it is.
Yeah.
It is, because I know.
You learn.
I mean, with going back to the technology here, I've seen bands like Tomahawk Love, another fantastic band.
Yeah.
They recorded their video with the Galaxy S7, which is the phone I have.
It's a phone, yeah.
It's just a phone. So all I'm gonna do when I'm shooting her is I'm gonna set up one camera with my DSLR, set that to static one, and then just have a handheld with my phone. I'll see what happens.
Yeah, totally.
How are you advising somebody who might want to do this? It sounds like it's affordable for the most part. No, where does the gear get expensive? The editing software?
It seems like it's an investment
Where does gear get expensive?
at the beginning.
Photographers are like golfers. You can sell them anything. It's, I mean, there's really, when does it get, define expensive?
Right.
I mean,
$1,000. That's
that-
expensive to me.
that will get you a decent DSLR body.
Not the lens.
No lenses.
not a lens that I would use.
A few
No.
$100 lenses.
It depends. If you're using like just some fast 50 mil lens, you can pick up. I know Canon and Nikon, they make those lenses. You can pick them up for like 40, 50 bucks used, and they are just as sharp as anything else. Like it's fantastic.
There you go, aspiring photographers. Listen to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you need a bit of dough, but you could get started doing what you're doing. Show up at a bar and take a picture of some bands with
Yeah.
a couple of grand.
Yeah. A couple grand in the form of photo equipment. And
Not processing and editing equipment.
no, well, the processing is just basic software.
Right.
And to any photographer out there, whoever is thinking about, shooting RAW versus shooting JPEG, don't even consider shooting JPEG. JPEG is useless. You need to shoot RAW, period. That's another thing. One thing I would say to aspiring photographers, don't skimp out on the technical side. It's very important to learn the rules before you start breaking them. Because
I like that.
You have
to.
learn the rules before you start breaking them.
Yeah.
I think you can use that in all sorts of
You can.
parts of
We're
life.
going to officially adopt that.
Yeah, can we? Do you mind?
Absolutely.
ArtsTalk. Learn those rules before you break them. This is ArtsTalk.
Let's start breaking it.
yeah.
So you do. I mean, you sound like a bit of a gearhead, a bit of an equipment geek.
I was more so back in the day, yes.
But what you do is more art. It's composition. It's how it all looks.
That's been a process. I historically have been a very technical shooter. I was all about, oh wow, look how tack focused sharp this is, and look at how the ISO is so great on this camera, even on the higher end. And it's like, an old friend of mine, he told me these two words when thinking about photographs: color and storytelling. And for some reason, when he said that, it just kind of completely changed everything. Yeah. Photos that I would usually just delete, I no longer delete. Photos that I would normally usually not take, I now take. Nice. Just because of, color and storytelling. So, but I still want my stuff to be in focus. I still want my, the proper exposure. I still want, so it's kind of
becomes your style, right?
Yeah, it is, and it's kind of exhausting being in my own head when I'm shooting, because it's just.
That's being an artist, man.
Yeah, I know. I know. But yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your thought process there, but totally, I feel like a lot of people can relate to that, because as an artist, artists tend to be, well, a lot of them that I've met tend to be perfectionists, or they want to be the best that they can be, or produce the best art they can. And
you know what I've heard the definition of perfectionism is not necessarily wanting thing to be the best it can be. It's never being satisfied.
Oh, you told me that the other week.
And don't you think that's really true?
Sometimes.
Nothing's ever quite good enough, or you're always thinking it could have been just a little bit.
Now, is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because does that push you to do the best, or is it a bad thing because you're never satisfied?
And I think it can be construed as a bad thing because it's hard to be sasatisfied.
Yes.
You go through your life always feeling like, oh, I could have been better. Look at the comment on the photo. I've forgotten which member of the band it was. It was a great shot of her screaming. And her comment was chins. That's all she said, and a little sad face.
Emily, that's you, Em. Yeah.
And of course, she said everybody gets chins when they scream.
Yeah.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, God. Don't even get me started on chins.
I think I've seen the chins comments on a couple.
Yeah.
The angle that you're at, of course, usually below where the subject is.
Yeah.
You're gonna catch chins.
It's gonna happen.
But that's another workaround. Understand that if they're doing something like, if they're holding their guitar and they're looking down while they're strumming like this, you know that they're going to get some chin. So wait until they go up and to scream into the microphone. Just stupid little things like that, right?
I wouldn't call that a stupid little thing. That's just a smart little thing.
Just be aware of that, because.
Yeah. But there you go.
Here's my chins. Well, you can't tell on the radio.
You can't see mine, but they're pretty big. So we are a little bit out of time.
We're probably going to play one more tune here.
We are.
And this is Snake River Redemption. I've never heard of Snake River Redemption.
These guys, I saw them play at Stop, Drop, and Roll for New Year's. This is another, Matt Groupie find. At least for me, I found them out through him. They played New Year's at Stop, Drop, and I really like their sound. It's like for me being back in high school listening to Corrosion of Conformity.
Oh, I know that band.
And it's just they're
I'm pretty sure that Johnny No Cash is a big fan of Snake River Redemption. I think that he talked about them on his ArtsTalk episode, I believe. And I know the name, so.
Your memory is excellent.
Thank you.
Wow. All right, this is Dust and Bloodshed by Snake River Redemption, a Nick Persichilli find.
No, not a Nick Persichilli find. Don't do that.
Here on 102.7 Chop FM. Thank you. With Snake River Redemption. With
I got your back, Dave.
Dust
Peters.
and we're a team.
We are.
With Dust and Bloodshed on 102.7 Shop FM. This is ArtsTalk. I'm Taylor Cross.
I'm Dave Peters.
And we have been in conversation with Nick Persichilli. Nick, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me.
It was really
Anytime.
great talking to you.
Yeah.
You're very passionate, articulate about what you do. It's great.
Thank you. Thank you.
It gives a lot of energy, and I'm sure that the bands you're working with really picked that up from you.
Well, you guys brought it out of me because I was nervous as hell. So
Really?
So any bands out there that are listening too and you're looking for some photography, we have our friend here, Nick, who is fantastic.
A man with some skills.
So get in touch.
NickPersichilli.com.
Where can they find you?
Nick, he said it.
NickPersichilli.com. There you go.
Yes.
Should we be spelling that for people?
Yeah, we should.
We probably should.
How do you spell Persichilli?
Persichilli.
So you would think Persichilli, but no.
I've been saying
It's
that for
it's
about
Italian.
a year and a half.
It's
There's a
Italian.
Persichilli.
Hard CH.
Nope.
Hard CH. Yeah, look this man up and check out his work at Reverb Photography on Facebook.
Yep.
And don't forget to listen to these bands that we have been playing. So
Uh-huh.
once again, our sincere thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Who's on next week?
Next week we've got One in the Chamber.
One in the Chamber.
I remembered, so you're welcome.
I'm very impressed. Ask her that every week. This
I
is the
always
first time.
forget.
I love it. We're going to send you out of here with one of our favorite bands. That would be Newmarket's own Hysterics.
And we will be playing March 31st at the Grey Goat alongside, big show announcement right now, haven't announced this, Hysterics, High Heels Lo-Fi, Die Sci-Fi, and Beaver Slap.
Oh my goodness.
March 31st at the Grey Goat on Main Street in Newmarket.
And if you haven't been upstairs at the Grey Goat where they rock out, you really must check it out.
Yes,
it's a great
you do.
venue in town, at one of the better bars in town.
I agree.
So be there, and don't forget to be here next week at 6 o'clock sharp to hear ArtsTalk. Thanks very much for being with us. This is Hysterics with Violet on 102.7.
Chop FM.
And the sky was made of amethyst, and all the stars are just like a little fish. You should learn when to go. You should learn how to say